Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Thanks for being on the call today. So we got some interesting things to cover that should help you in sales and in life. So first thing I want to talk about, though, is a little bit about a sales feature, advantage, benefit. And it's so easy for us to get turned around or confused on this. So I just want to walk through, when we're showing something to somebody, what the difference is between a feature, advantage, and benefit. So a feature is a product property. An advantage is the advantages that property gives, but the benefit is the benefits that that property gives to the client. And we think that people immediately understand that, but they don't, because we have sometimes trouble understanding that. And here they're saying you should have at least two benefits to each advantage. So let's look at an example of an outside of our industry. Companies' cosmetic features, advantages, and benefits is reduces dark circles. Now that to me seems like a benefit, right? It reduces dark circles, but that's not the benefit. See, reducing the dark circles makes you look younger, but is making you look younger a benefit? Well, maybe some people don't want to look younger. What it does is it makes you feel more confident. So it's not the fact that you look younger, it's the fact that it makes you feel more confident. Or pH balance can be applied to all skin types. Benefits is there's no pain to that. So that's the kind of thing we're looking for. So when we look at building a FAB, a feature advantage benefit FIA presentation, we've already done that within our presentation, but what are some features? So guys, I want you to type in, what are some features of FIA? What are some features of an FIA? One is features that buys low, sells high automatically, right? Buys low, no loss of principal. Very good, Ben. No downside, so no loss. But let's start with that one. So no loss of principal. That's a feature. You cannot lose principal. What's the advantage of that? You never what? What's the advantage of no downside? You don't lose money. Very good, Tom. And what's the benefit of that? What's the benefit of that? Preserve lifestyle. Very good, Steve. What else? Never losing money makes you feel what? Peace of mind. Peace of mind. Secure, exactly. So does it automatically buy low, sell high? Okay, so that's a feature. What's an advantage of something that automatically buys low, sells high? You cannot what? It is blank proof. What is it? Loss proof, yes, but more importantly, what else? Automatically buy low, sell high. So loss proof would be no more. It'd be associated with no loss of principal, no downside. It's foolproof, yes. Mistake proof, yes. Mistake proof, because it works in a sideways market, right? So the benefit is it could be it works in a sideways market as well. It could also mean that what? Peace of mind, right? Never have to you never have to doubt yourself. You never have to look back last year and say, "Ooh, I made a mistake." That's a benefit. So what's another feature advantage benefit? And you can hop in here anytime, Jeff. What's another feature advantage benefit?
Well, I would actually say those are the two biggest features, advantages, and benefits. The thing that you guys have to keep in mind is if you're sitting here and you're struggling to articulate it, if you're struggling to articulate it, guess who else is struggling to articulate it? And so if the client, if you can't articulate it, they won't be able to articulate it. You know more than they do. And if they can't articulate it, they won't do it. And I think sometimes we think, oh, these things sell themselves. No, they don't. How you articulate things is the biggest factor in your success than what you sell. How you sell it has more to do with how much money you make than what you have to sell and what the market's doing, or how many people are coming to a workshop. If there aren't a lot of people coming to your marketing, then you better be really good at how you present. And so think about that if you're sitting there struggling to figure out, well, what are the features? What are the advantages? What are the benefits? If you're just thinking about that and trying to articulate it for the first time here, then you've probably missed out on sales because you couldn't articulate it when you needed to.
And I guess a couple of points that you bring up there, Jeff, that applied to me. And so I made $1 million. I went from making 50 grand a year to $1 million a year, marketing to the same exact small group of people, 14,000 people, marketing to the same group that when I was only making $50,000 a year. And it was during the 97, 98, 99. What was the stock market doing during the 97, 98, 99? What did everybody believe in 97, 98, 99? It was going up what? 25 and 30% year after year after year. Is that the time that you would normally want to be selling FIAs? Telling people they're not going to get the whole market. But that's when I made all my money. Because I sold nothing but FIAs. I was RIA, but I didn't do managed money. I said, hey, you can do that yourself. I'll just help you with the guaranteed money. So why? Why did the FIA, how was I able to sell FIA during a fantastic market? As Jeff just said, doesn't FIA have anything to do when the market's up? Does it work? Does the presentation work better when the market's up? Does it work better when the market's down? Does it work better when the market's sideways? Guys, what are we doing with the FIA presentation, our FIA presentation? And it's an hour long. It's an hour long, but how many times does the client tell us in that hour the features, the advantages, and the benefits of the FIA during that hour? At least 60, 70, maybe 100 times if you do it right. And we get used to selling FIAs by saying, look at, you don't lose any money with this. Look at this, guys, when you take shortcuts in selling the FIA, will your clients buy whatever you tell them that you recommend generally? Will your clients buy whatever you recommend generally? Yes. So we think, oh, that's how you sell an FIA. But do people who are your brand new clients, do they 100% trust everything that you say? No, they do not. So should we take shortcuts with our clients and just tell them, hey, this is what we need to do, and they do it? Should we take shortcuts with our clients? No, because they're the best place to practice so that when you're in front of a prospect, you're how good. So the nice thing about the feature advantage for FIAs is, guess what we've already done for you? We've created those features, advantages, and benefits inside the FIA presentation, whether you use the bond one or the participation rate. Does that make sense? So I know that you scratch your head and say, I don't need an hour to sell this to a client. Because I know a lot of people, right now we're getting a lot of our advisors saying clients are yammering to get out of the market. They've had enough and want to get into FIAs. I mean, we've had a ton of advisors tell us that clients are yammering to get into something guaranteed. Should we then go ahead and take the shortcut and just put them into an FIA, or should we still do the whole presentation? Everybody answer yes or no. Whole presentation or not? I want to see everybody do a Y or an N there. Yeah, the whole presentation. That's exactly right. Because first of all, how smart does the client think that move is when you do that presentation? See, it's the client's decision, not yours. Isn't it great when the client makes a decision versus you? Yeah, Nick says that you use the same process to be efficient. That's right. Guys, I did the same thing over and over and over, and I treated every client the same. I treated every prospect the same, just because if I have somebody who's easy, let's say I have somebody who is easy to sell an FIA to, if I do the whole presentation, will I lose them? If somebody who's easy, if I do the whole FIA presentation, will I lose them? No, I won't. And when do I find out whether, especially with a prospect, when do I find out whether they're easy or they're hard? At the beginning or at the end of the presentation? At the end. So did I ever assume somebody was going to be easy and then was surprised that they were hard at the end? No. Because I did the same thing over and over and over. And what closing ratio should you have with an FIA when you use our presentation? 100%. Why? Why 100? Now, some people said 90, 95, and I would agree with that too, because there are some people who would fight you so hard, you can get them to buy an FIA, but what kind of a pain in the ass would that client be? You wouldn't want them. So you could get them. It would just take more. And why do we have 100% closing ratio? If we want, why do we have 100% closing ratio in FIA? Why is it 100% closing ratio? Why could I go on primetime TV and make that claim with $1 million on the line? Why could I make that claim? I'll lose $1 million if I can't prove that claim. Why? Why? John's got it. Because they tell us why they need to move the money. Do I ever say a single good thing about an FIA in that presentation? Do I ever tell them why they need to move the money in that presentation? No, they do all the talking. Does that make sense? So guys, make sure you're fluent on the FIA presentation. Do not take shortcuts. Don't assume somebody's going to be easy. Make sense? And we got those feature advantage benefits right in that presentation. So the main topic today is I want to talk about how we should handle obstacles in our business and in our life. Because do we have obstacles? Do we have obstacles in our lives and in our business? All the time. So we could say, gosh, big obstacle, what do I do? Well, unfortunately, too often what people will do is they'll feel stymied. They'll feel frustrated, defeated. They'll give up. And we don't want to do that. You know what? Again, I don't want to turn into some new age thing, but this is science we're going to be talking about here. How should we view an obstacle? We've all heard the old adage about the Chinese character. What's the old adage that people use about the Chinese character? The Chinese letter. Has to do with obstacles. An obstacle is the same thing as what? An opportunity. So the Chinese character for obstacle is also the same for opportunity. Why? Because an obstacle is saying you're not going to do the things the same way as you always did it, or you'd be stuck. We need to think of things to do it a different way, and that's what creates opportunities. Does that make sense? So you can't be, when you're under obstacle, you can't say, I can't do it, oh no, oh, that money's gone, it's impossible to get through this. No. Because when you have that kind of mentality, you need to make changes. I mean, you start to play what's called a losing game. So Jeff, you're the coach and you're the sports fanatic in our office here. So what does playing a losing game mean?
Playing a losing game, I think, means just doing the same thing over and over. And if you don't have success with it, you have to change something. You can't just say, well, I guess, it just wasn't our day, or it was the ref's fault, or it was, if so-and-so hadn't gotten hurt, or if so-and-so hadn't fouled out. You just have to learn how to be good enough to win. You have to get better.
Yeah, because doing the same thing is what?
Yeah, that you're not
a ticket to success.
Yeah.
So what kind of things those pro teams do? We'll see how I'm going to quiz you. Jeff doesn't know I was going to do this, Jim. What are kind of things that a pro team will do when they're starting to play a losing game and they realize, oh, we can't do things the same way? What are some of the things that they do? How does management handle it?
When a team is losing, sometimes
when they're 0-16, what's that management going to probably do? Yeah.
Get new players.
Shake up the roster.
Get a new coach.
Trade players. Fire the coach. And let me ask you a question, Jeff. When they shake up the roster, does it mean that all of a sudden they've got players that are going to play better? When they trade players, does it mean they're necessarily getting players? I mean, what player wants to be traded to a losing team? The best players?
Yeah, nobody. Yeah.
So even when you play, will the best players move to a losing team, even if they offered them a huge contract?
Generally, no.
No, they won't. And when they fire the coach, are they really getting a better coach?
No, they're getting.
They're just getting a coach who's going to do what?
Yeah. They're just getting a different coach.
Yeah, right. And he's going to do what?
He's going to do. There's only so many things you can do. He's going to do pretty much the same things the other coach did.
So why would that change from a losing mentality to a winning mentality?
Well,
I mean, he's not going to change he's not going to change the plays. I mean, there's only so many plays. Maybe he would change the plays, but there's only so much. But he's going to, by doing this stuff, guys. What does that do to the team? It gets them thinking what? Differently. It breaks that pattern of we're doing the same things the same way. Because when you shake up the roster, will every player play? They're not better necessarily, but will every player play the same in each position the same? Or will each player that plays the position bring something slightly different to it? Even though when you trade players, you don't bring the best players over. Could they relate or maybe have better compatibility with the rest of the team? So the CDs, you got to shake it up. So when you're losing, when you run an obstacle, it doesn't necessarily need to mean you need to do things better. You just need to what? Change. So there's 3 ways you can handle a stressful situation. You can either change a situation, or you can change your attitude toward the situation, or you can remove yourself from the situation. So if we talked about that 0-16, change the situation is what we just talked about here, right? Shake up the roster, trade the players, fire the coach. What does change your attitude toward the situation? Well, what allowed them to shake up the roster or shake up a great example of this is Moneyball, right? Because how much resistance did Billy get about changing the roster, changing the way they recruited, changing all that stuff? He got a huge amount of resistance to that. But he changed his attitude, right? He changed the team, and even when he did those changes, did the team still lose? Yes. He had to go in there and do what? Change the players' attitudes, change the coach's attitude toward the situation. Or what you can do is remove yourself from the situation, which means what? Quitting or moving to another team. So let's talk about us. What are some obstacles that we run into? What are some obstacles we run into? How about if we do marketing? We do a seminar and it doesn't work. Well, we could change the situation. How could we change the situation if we do a seminar and it doesn't work? Well, that's one thing. So somebody said, do a better presentation. Yeah, that's one thing. Absolutely, Steve. Could also say what? I'm no longer marketing with, I'm no longer going to market with seminars. I'll find some other thing to do. Could maybe change your territory, change the flyer, change the presentation, as Steve said. What would change your attitude? How can we change our attitude about that lack of success with a seminar, for example? I'm just using this as an example, guys, just so we can kind of get clear on this. Well, instead of getting better at getting a better presentation, we could what? Say, you know what? When I look at that, I had 20 people in the audience, and I didn't get I only got 2 appointments. That means what? I better get better at that presentation. It's me. It's not them. Guys, we can coach you to get 80% appointments at a seminar. We can coach you to get 80% appointments. Everybody that's followed Jeff's and my recommendations and then sent us a tape where we could help them finesse that within 1 or 2 seminars, they were getting 80% appointment ratio. So, but in order for that to happen, the advisor had to change their attitude. What are some things that I just mentioned there? Where if the advisor sent the tape to us, unless Jeff and I help them finesse what they're doing, what are some changes in attitude that occurred there? What are some changes that an attitude that the advisor made? Biggest one is what? They're willing to do what? So Jeff, when somebody's not willing to record their meeting, what do we know about their next meeting?
It's not going to be any better than the last one. It's going to be the same. It's going to be you're going to get the same result.
Because if they record the meeting, even if they don't send it to us and they just review it themselves, that when somebody makes a commitment to record the meeting, even if they choose not to send it to you and I, what happens? What's happened in their mind when they've done that?
Well, they're telling themselves they're willing to improve.
Yes, that's what's happening. So even if you don't send the tape to us, guys, just the fact that you would tape yourself says, I've changed my attitude. I know I can be better, and that's a good thing. Because the last thing we want to do is remove ourselves from the situation. Because if you stop marketing, what have you just given guaranteed for the rest of your career? A death by what? If you stop marketing, you've just guaranteed to yourself that what? A death by 1,000 cuts, because you're just hanging on to the clients you have. And Jeff, have you ever talked to somebody who says, an advisor says, I had a really thriving practice, but because we've asked them, why are you coming on to 5Q? Well, we had a really thriving practice and it was really great, but now all my clients are what?
Well,
85 years old.
Yeah.
So they, at that point, they have to start what? All over again. Is that the right way to run a business? Get a bunch of clients, wait till they die out, then go get a bunch of clients, wait till they die out. Is that the best way to do it? No. So if we want change, we can either change our situation, remove ourselves from the situation, or change our attitude about the situation. And this is the one that's going to have the most effect on you. So what I want to walk through is 7 ways to change your attitude about a situation. Again, this has nothing to do with, well, it has everything to do with your business, but it also has to do with just life as well. If you go thinking everything's horrible, you got that, rain cloud over your head all the time, what do you guarantee if you have a rain cloud over your head all the time? You're going to have nothing but problems. Does fortune ever shine on somebody who's got a negative attitude or a poor attitude? No. So we don't want to be Pollyannish and say everything's rainbows and unicorns. But I tell you what, if you're going to be rain cloud or Pollyannish, which one's going to be a more successful person? A guy with rose-colored glasses or a guy that everything is always rainy? Hopeful and optimistic. And again, I'm reading several books on luck right now, and it validates that. And it has nothing to do with you changing the world around you. It has to do with when you have rose-colored glasses, you're looking for opportunities. When you have rain clouds over your head, you're looking for what? Disasters. So are you going to have more success when you're looking constantly for disasters, the worst part of everything, or when you're looking for the best part of things? That's when you find opportunities. Does that make sense? So let's not just sell, preach, or teach on how we're going to use these 7 ways to change our attitude. Let's actually use or turn the knowledge into action. So let's just choose somebody on the call, pick an obstacle that we have that will walk through these, how we can change our attitude. So just go ahead and pick one. Somebody put one up. Give me an obstacle you run into either in life, it can be in life, or in your business. And we'll work through these 7 changes in attitude together. None of you have obstacles? Lack of trust. Okay, let's talk about lack of trust. And is that valid? I mean, is everybody that comes into our office that is not a client, so every prospect that comes into our office, do they have trust? Do they trust us? No, none of them trust us. They all look at us as what? They all look at us as salesmen, right? They look at the salesman. So remember, when I actually, that 3rd or the 8th year when I made $50,000, even after I got in front of 300 people and did 101 case analysis, I quit the business at the end. And who did I blame, guys? Them. I said, these people in Rochester are dumb as stumps. They're taking all of my great information and going back to the advisor who caused them the problem in the first place. Well, why were they not? Again, they don't want hassles. They don't want confrontation. Those are very valid reasons not to move. But they were also thinking what? Hey, I just met Mike a month ago, and geez, at least I know he's pointed out my guy is screwing me. But at least what? At least I know who he is. And again, I take that back. I wasn't pointing out the guy was screwing them. They just said my guy's made mistakes. That's what they came away with. My guy was making mistakes. That's why they wouldn't move. I say, yeah, my guy's made mistakes, but what's to say Mike won't make a mistake? See, it was trust. What's trust part of that problem? Besides hassle, besides don't want to confront, was trust also part of that problem? Yes, it was. So let's use that as an example. So first way is choose a positive interpretation. Success is the ability to go from one failure to another with no loss of enthusiasm. So I went from one failure to another. Why? Why was I enthusiastic about my failures? What was I doing when I changed my whole way I've dealt things for 8 years and went to a 20-fold increase in business, marketing to the exact same people with the exact same seminar? What did I change? How did I turn failures or get enthusiastic about my failures? What did I start? I started learning from my mistakes. How did I do that? Recorded. Yes, I started recording. So, boy, when I recorded it, yes, it was humiliating for me to hear myself, but I got excited because can I change people? Can I change the economic situation? Can I change the product? Can I change the other advisor? No. The one thing I could change is myself. So I got enthusiastic. Finally, I could see why people weren't working with me. Oh, I see. What I'm doing is not working. So that's one thing I can fix. So I went from failure to failure with enthusiasm by recording myself. Awesome job. Number 2, don't overthink it. So if what I did then, when I record myself, if I spent the next year trying to figure out how to fix it, would that work? No. What should you do? And when you're on the football field, how much time do you have to change? If you want to win, Jeff, you want to win on the football field and what you're doing ain't working, how much time do you have to change that?
You have minutes, really. You don't have a lot of time.
And is there any guarantee the change is going to work?
No.
No. But you do it just so what?
Well, you try things. You know one thing didn't work. Let's see if this other thing works until you stumble on the thing that does work.
That's right. But if instead the coach spent a whole quarter trying to figure out what to do, what would happen?
Yeah, you'd fall too far behind for anything to make a difference.
And do you ever talk to advisors that overthink things?
Yeah, I do. I talk to people that are like, well, I'm not gonna meet with anybody until I perfect this. Yeah, you can't perfect it. You've gotta play in the game. You can't make a plan and plan and plan and plan and never get in the game. You're gonna make mistakes, but nobody knows what mistakes you're gonna make until you actually get in the game and we see. You're gonna have to. I just see a lot of advisors who do too much planning and not enough doing.
Yes. And we all have a phrase for that. What's that phrase, guys? Paralysis by analysis. The best way you perfect something is to do it and then make changes. Do it, fail, make changes. Do it, fail, make changes. Guys, remember, when I changed, I went from making 50 grand a year to 356 to 667 to 967. Did I go from making 50,000 to 967 in 1 year? No. Where was my biggest jump? The first, second, or third year? What was my biggest jump? First, second, or third year? 7-fold increase from 50,000 to 357 that first year. Why? Because I was just trying things, and I was starting to work most of the big things out, and then I basically improved a little bit more, and then improved a little bit more. Don't overthink things. Go and do things. Try things, and then when they don't work, figure out something else to do. Does that make sense? And Jeff, the nice thing is, this system has worked for 25 years between me and everybody else that uses it. 25 years. You don't even have to overthink. If it's not working, Jeff and I can tell you exactly why it's not working. Does that make sense? Send the tapes, and that'll save you a ton of time. But don't overthink it. Don't try to perfect it. Do it, and then get better at it. Look for benefits that aren't obvious. Look for benefits that aren't obvious. So, are there other benefits to an FIA, for example? Oh wait, what are we using? We're using what? Trust. Okay, so trust. What are some benefits that they would have that aren't obvious to them? Well, I'll tell you the biggest one when it comes to trust is what? Do they, when they walk into our office, trust their current guy? Is it obvious that their guy is screwing them when they walk into our office? No, they think their guy what? Well, but what's the guy done for them for the last 10 years? What's that guy done for them? in the last 10 years? Guys, even the worst advisor out there, what has their clients done in the last 10 years? That's right, Steve, made money. So why would they want to change? So we're going to, when it comes to trust, we're going to have them figure out what? The benefits to working with us is, hey, they may not trust us, right? But here's the thing, with a magician, once the magician shows you how he cuts the lady in half, can he ever trick you with that again? Once he shows you the trick to cutting a lady in half, can he ever trick you with that again? No, he can't. So think about this. Are we giving them, when we do a 21-point checklist, do we really give them a reason to trust us? Not really. All we're saying is that what? Here are 21 reasons your guy is taking advantage of you, is having you lose money, is putting your family in danger for his own benefit. Do we ever talk about ourselves at the 21-point checklist? Should we ever say a single thing about ourselves and how we treat our clients at the 21-point checklist? Come on, everybody, yay or nay? Y or N? No, if you start doing commercials for yourself at the 21-point checklist, you have done something terribly wrong. So if we're not telling people they can trust us, why do they trust us? Because they may think, you know what, I may not be able to trust Mike, but he's shown me these 21 things that advisors do to take advantage of their clients, so he may find some other things to do, but he certainly can't do what? These 21s that he just showed me. How can you do a VA? How can you do a variable annuity in the 21-point checklist and show them how that guy screwed them with a variable annuity, and then go back and sell a variable annuity yourself if you wanted to? If you really, I don't recommend it because I'm not a big fan of variable annuities, but you could actually do that. Why? Is the 21-point checklist portion where we talk about fees and variable annuity about the fact that variable annuities are bad? No, if variable annuities are bad, they wouldn't be allowed to be sold. What's the problem with the variable annuity? Nothing. No, see, people are saying the upfront cost, the insurance expense. No, what's the problem with the variable annuity, guys? The advisor? That's right. The advisor is the problem. The advisor is the problem. Why? Our FIA is the best investment out there. Our variable annuity is the best investment out there. Our money manager is the best investment out there. Does a best investment exist? No. Everything has advantages. Everything has disadvantages. But when all of our competitors sell their products, I don't care whether it's a VA, FIA, a money manager, bond, whatever, no matter what it is, and they've got 60 minutes to sell that product, how much of that 60 minutes is spent talking about how great that product is? I got 59 and I got 60. And I would say, yeah, I think 59 is being generous, Dale. I would say it's all 60. So all we're doing is what? We're not saying that investment is bad. We're saying, hey, in fact, for example, with the variable annuity, do we talk about the fact that, hey, you know what, it is tax deferred. Hey, it does have good managers. Hey, you can move from one to the other without any fees. Hey, you can move to one fund to another fund without any taxes. Do we talk about all the good things about the VA? Yeah, we spent 5 minutes on that, but then we spent what? 15 minutes walking through all the things that weren't disclosed to them about the VA. Does that make sense? So the benefits, if we were using trust, so we chose trust as the obstacle. Does a client know that they should not trust their current advisor? Is that obvious to them, or are they completely blind to that? So have we found the benefit that isn't obvious with a 200-point checklist for trust? The next thing is take a breath. What if I told you guys, when you run into somebody who doesn't trust you, or when you run into any type of obstacle whatsoever, any type of resistance whatsoever, what do I counsel you to do? Slow down, right, Nick? Slow down And what should happen to the volume of your voice? Slow down, low down, lower your voice. Why? Because when we get pushed into a situation where somebody resists us or somebody doesn't trust us and it's becoming apparent, do we get stressed out by that? Like, we're just trying to help this person. Why is he fighting me? I'm just trying to point this out. And everything I say, when I say something's white, he says it's black. But what happens to us in our heads when we're stressed? Do we talk faster or slower? And are they more likely to talk faster or slower? See, if we're both talking fast, are we listening anymore? And when you slow down, what that also gives you the opportunity to do what? When you slow down, it gives you the opportunity to do what? Think. That's right, Steve. Think. So take a breath. If somebody doesn't trust you, take a breath. But do you see how we're using don't trust us? Because that's what we've chosen to work on together. But do all these things work for really any obstacle? If you're in a sinking boat and you're panicking, are you going to get out of that situation or are you going to go down with the boat? I forget the name of that movie with Robert Redford, where one thing after another hits his boat. And does he ever get excited, or does he just go on from, well, okay, well, that happened, I guess I got to fix that. Oh, that happened, I got to fix that. What stays the course? That's right. So take a breath. When you feel like things are getting out of control, our body tells us we should go faster. We have to fight that and go slower. Take a breath. Reinterpret the person's behavior or the situation. We get mad or frustrated with them not trusting us. Guys, should they trust us? Should they trust us? Do they know us? Do they know what we've done for other clients? We're in an industry where they should generally trust advisors or not trust advisors. Should they trust us? No. If you're here, I'll give you an example. You're probably thinking, what do you mean, Mike? Okay, let me give you an example. Your mom calls you up and says, hey, I just met with an advisor, and he says I should move all my money to him. What? Did everybody answer this question? Your mom calls up. She says, I met an advisor. He wants me to move all my money to him. What do you tell her to do? Yes or no? Move or don't move? Everybody answers this. I want everybody to call answers. You tell her to move or you tell her to stay? Okay, everybody's saying don't move. That's right. Everybody's saying stay. So let me ask you a question. Should we be mad or frustrated when a client does not trust us? No. I expect them not to trust us. Why did I get so good at aping people, agreeing, parroting, empowering people? Because I know they don't trust me. What is the number one tool we get to have people start to trust us? Aping, agreeing with them, parroting them, empowering them. That's the number one way we get people to trust us. I never think that I don't blame people for not trusting me. I expect them not to trust us. You know, the example I give is that if I'm a football player, I'm running back on the football field, and I get tackled, what do? Somebody just comes and just nails me, tackles me. What do? Get up and go back to the huddle. Now, I'm the same running back, professional running back. I'm walking down the mall and somebody tackles me. Now what do? Now what do? I get up and I pop them. Why? Did I expect to be tackled on the football field? Yes. Did I expect to be tackled at the mall? No. So the thing is, I go into a meeting and am I ever angry at somebody or frustrated when somebody's not trusting me? No. What? I expect it. So because I expect them not to trust me, do I ever get frustrated with it? If I come in there and know, well, I'm going to go in this situation, they're not going to trust me. So do you see how I can approach the meeting much more intellectually, work on my skills, and be in control of the situation when I go in expecting that versus instead going in and thinking, hey, I'm here to help. I'm here to help. They're going to obviously trust me. No, that's a recipe for what? Frustration. So I reinterpret the person's behavior. Again, we've decided to use trust as the obstacle here. I reinterpret that as being, yeah, that's what I would do. So I'm not going to get frustrated at their trust. I mean, they're doing the right thing. It's my job to create that. Does that make sense? Put events into a wider context. So what is the reason when I show somebody their let's just use the VA that we talked about earlier. So this VA, why should people move their VA? Why should people move all their VA money to you when you go through that part of the 29-point checklist, just for example? Is it because, oh, well, Tom's got it. Is it because they're paying for insurance they didn't know they had? Is it because they're paying fees that they don't really need? That's right, everybody's saying it. They don't trust their guy. The guy did not tell them things, did not disclose things. And why did the guy not disclose things? Why did he not disclose the fact that they're paying for the only type of life insurance that's taxable, and life insurance is 10 times more expensive than if they wanted to buy it just by itself? Yeah, to make more money. That's right. So have we put those events into a wider context then? Do we just say, hey, you're paying unnecessary fees for your advisor or for your VA? If we did that, would we have any success? If we pointed out to the people they're paying $6,000 too much in VA's fees, will we have any success? Jeff always talks about we had an advisor who was able to show somebody that they were spending, I don't know what it was, Jeff. What was it, like $30,000 or something on B share fees? And what happened with that advisor? He came back to you and he was super happy, right? Because he was able to show that client that he was paying $30,000 in B share fees, unnecessary B share fees. And what happened?
So they made an appointment for a implementation meeting. The guy came back and said, hey, before we get started, I just want to let you know, thank you very much. I went back to my advisor. I basically chewed him a new one, and he got me out of all those B shares. So I appreciate that advice. That was good advice. Thank you.
What can the advisor do at this point? Because he thought the fact that people were paying $30,000 too much in fees was enough to get them to move. And all the person said, 30,000 fees, that's too much. I'm going to fix that. And did the client fix it, guys? Yep. It has to be about trust. So where does this fit as part of the bigger picture? Whatever, lack of trust, where does this fit as part of the bigger picture? How big a deal will this feel in a week or month from now? So the fees, in that example of that with the B shares, is that how quick does that client forget the fact that their advisor did that to them? How quickly? Once they change the fees go away by moving them to A shares, they think what? They wash their hands, say, okay, problem fixed. Everything's good now. So how long did that last? If you don't trust your advisor and they have all your money, how long does that last? If you think the person that has all your money is screwing you, how long will that last? Forever, until they get away from that guy. How much is this really affecting my happiness? Guys, we have tape after tape after tape of people that were going on vacation after the 21-point checklist, and during their vacation, they made time to move all the money. How many of you have ever, that aren't using the system, or know any of your competitors that are able to get people who are on vacation to take time out of their vacation to move all their money to you? Why are the people doing that? Why are the people taking time out of their vacation to move their money to you? Why are people that their son is their advisor moving their money to the advisor? Because they can't trust the advisor anymore. So you want to ask, how would this situation look to someone looking in? If somebody, if their friend saw what they were doing and what their advisor was doing to them, what would that make your client feel like? If their friend saw what their advisor had done to them, how would they feel? See, that's the kind of things you got to put things into a wider context. Shift to seeing what's there instead of what's not. Celebrate your success. So let's see how this would fit into, I'm not sure how this would fit into, since you chose trust. So let's think about this. So they don't trust us. So shift to seeing what's there. Well, we know that they don't trust us, but instead of what's not, what's not. Well, okay, so they don't trust us, but do they necessarily would you say they necessarily don't trust us, or they don't know whether to trust us? So do they not trust us? Or they do not know whether or not to trust us? If they really didn't trust us, would they have even come to the meeting? Yeah, they're just not sure. So instead of me thinking, hey, they're not going to trust us, I should shift my meaning and say, hey, you know what? They're going to come here not knowing whether to trust me or not. Will that change my mindset with them? Because this is all a mindset thing, isn't it? So the next step you need to take when you know that you've got these things of prejudging obstacles is to replace them with habits that hold you back. So this is kind of the next step. If we want to make change, we have to get rid of old habits. So holding on to old beliefs. What's some examples of holding on to old beliefs? Well, number one is all these people don't trust me. They're all plate lickers. They're all tire kickers. Is that a good or a bad belief? Seminars never work. Good or bad belief? So, and I'll just say, here's the thing. I'm not telling you to do seminars, but I just want to use that as an example. The guys that make the most money in this industry all do what? Lead generation? They all do seminars. So it is working. Who's it working for? Who's it working for? Guys that know how to do seminars. It's not that seminars don't work. It's that the guys who are doing seminars have the seminars they're doing, and they have the right expectations and they have the skills. What's another old belief you got to get rid of? Tire kickers, plate lickers? No such thing. Everybody's a tire kicker, plate licker. Seminars don't work? No such thing. What I did yesterday that didn't work won't work tomorrow. Is that right, guys? Maybe, maybe not. But if you start saying negative talk, I can't do this, don't feel like it, never works, too hard, it's boring, I hate this, people are tire kickers and plate lickers, I'm dumb, I quit. Guys, will this ever work? No, you need to have a growth mindset. Oops, I made a mistake, I'll try something different. Hey, you know what? Scripts are hard to learn, but I can do hard things. I believe I can do this. I'll try it again if it didn't work. I can do this. Guys, there's been tons of research, and how important is a growth mindset to success. It is the number one thing that determines whether you're going to be successful or not, is having a growth mindset. Now, unrealistic expectations. Should we have unrealistic expectations? Hey, first time I do a 21-point checklist, I'm going to hit it out of the ballpark. Is that realistic or not realistic? It's not realistic. You realize that what? First time I'm going to stumble. Oh, next time I'm going to get a little bit better. Oh, then I'm going to stumble. I'm going to actually take a step backwards here, but then I'm going to get better. Oh, then I took a big leap forward. Oh, but I still stumble on this one. That's the reality. We're never going to be perfect to begin with. We what? We seek it. We seek perfection. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for success. What's happening here? Is he still going the right direction here? Yes, by trial and error, and he learns. Every time there's an error, he learns and he takes a step forward. Are there sometimes it takes a step backwards? Yes, absolutely. But we're always moving in the right direction, forward. But if you don't do anything, where are you? If you're going to wait till you can do this, where are you going to be for the rest of your life? Right here at the beginning. So don't seek perfection. Seek getting better every single time. And solutions are rarely all or nothing. Solutions are rarely all or nothing. What do I mean by that? Well, if you do a 15-minute drill, is that going to change your life? Yes. Will it guarantee success? No, it'll guarantee that you're moving the right direction. If you record your meeting, does that guarantee success? No. But it means what? You're trying to move the right direction. If you choose to, instead of winging it, learn scripts, will that guarantee success? Well, I would tell you that will guarantee success, because if you use our scripts, you're going to get everybody to move their money. But the thing is, it's not just one of these things. You want to get better at what? All of these things. And is it something you can do tomorrow, or is it a journey? It's a journey. So this is not about a sprint. We're in a marathon. But what you want to do is every single day get a little bit better. How can you guarantee that every single day you get a little bit better? There's one way, the tool that we've given you to get a 15-minute drill. That's right. If you do the that's right, Keith, 15-minute drill. If you do the 15-minute drill every day, no matter what else happened that day, you can at least go to bed saying, you know what? I am better than I was at my business than I was when I woke up this morning. So please, please, please make sure you're doing those 15-minute drills every working day. Make sense? So was this helpful to take a more broader look at skills and attitudes? Was this helpful instead of just constantly hammering awesome. Everybody's saying yes. Super. Well, I really appreciate you guys being on the coaching call. Put some of these things to action. Ideas are great. Coaching calls are great. But if you do nothing with them, and do you have to put them all to work? No. Just grab something and get better today. Make sense? You guys have a fantastic rest of the weekend. We'll talk to you all next, I won't be talking next Monday, but Jeff will be talking to you next Monday. Thanks, everybody.